Hi, this is Kazarov.
Nigel Farage and his Reform UK movement are shaking British politics in late 2025. Recent polls place Reform at around 34 to 35% support, overtaking both Labour and the Conservatives. Farage promises sweeping changes, ending net zero climate commitments, restoring aggressive stop and search policing, and halting migrant boats within 2 weeks of taking office. His rallies are highly theatrical, with lights, smoke, and large crowds chanting, "Take back Britain." Supporters see him as the authentic outsider who will tear down the old system. Critics, however, warn that his rhetoric is dangerous and vague, full of bold slogans but lacking workable details. Establishment circles, both conservative grandees and aristocratic families, are increasingly alarmed, fearing that Farage could actually form a government if elections are called early. The idea of him entering Downing Street is now taken seriously by mainstream analysts.
Oh, let's talk about this Farage situation. You watch him on stage, pyro, flags, that raw crowd energy, and you can't deny it. People are buying what he's selling. He's stepping into something real. Folks feel ignored, and when someone shows up talking straight, they respond. But here's where I put my centrist hat on. Charisma and anger don't fix problems. You can yell about boats and net zero, you can rile up crowds, but how does that translate into actual policy? When you are running a country, slogans don't pay bills, and the aristocrats freaking out? That's kind of funny, honestly. You've got these old elite circles who've been running Britain forever, and suddenly this populist bulldozer shows up. Yeah, they're scared. But just because the elites hate him doesn't mean he's the right guy for the job. What worries me is the follow through. You tear down the establishment. Then what? What systems keep democracy intact? What guardrails exist when your leader thrives on chaos? People want disruption, and I get it, but disruption without structure is just a mess. A centrist view says listen to the anger, respect the frustration, but don't hand the keys to someone who's all fireworks and no blueprint. If Farage has real plans, show them. If not, then he's just another showman feeding off resentment. That doesn't build a stronger Britain, that just burns the old house without designing a new one, and regular people will be left standing in the rubble.
Farage's surge has unsettled Britain's traditional ruling circles. Polls consistently show Reform leading with around 35%, far above what analysts once considered possible. Commentators note that Farage operates in easy mode compared to mainstream parties. No parliamentary record to defend, no coalition baggage, and a direct connection to disillusioned voters. His appeal cuts across working class towns, suburban homeowners, and even parts of rural England. Meanwhile, Labour and the Conservatives are losing ground, each struggling with internal divisions. The aristocratic establishment sees Farage as a destabilizing figure, undermining institutions that once guaranteed continuity. Editorials warn of political volatility if he takes power. Still, supporters insist that Farage represents democratic renewal, someone willing to rip up old compromises. For the first time, serious discussion surrounds the possibility of Farage entering number 10 and reshaping British politics.
Here's the deal. When the elites panic, that tells you the ground is shifting. They are used to control, to predictability, and now this guy, Farage, loud, brash, unfiltered, is rewriting the script. People are pumped because he talks like them, not like a polished Westminster insider. But again, I have to check my centrist gut. Anger is fuel, but it burns fast. What happens when you actually have to govern? Running rallies with smoke machines is easy. Balancing budgets, handling global markets, negotiation with allies, that's the real test, and I don't see clear answers yet. Kicking out net zero? That's a slogan. Ending boats in 2 weeks? That's not a plan, that's a headline. And if aristocrats and institutions collapse in fear, maybe they deserve to, but replacing them with chaos doesn't guarantee something better. What people want is fairness. They want the system to work, not just to be smashed. So if Farage can back up his fire with substance, credible advisors, realistic policy, then maybe he's more than theater. But if it's all about rage and clapping crowds, Britain could wake up with a hangover. As a centrist, I'll say this. I get why people are excited. I get why elites are scared. But leadership isn't about scaring one group and hyping another. It's about stability and honesty. Farage has the energy. The question is, does he have the depth? Because without it, we are just trading one broken elite for another flashy disaster.